Hey guys, what's up? It's Arvin Star Song here, late at night in bed because I really still do not feel good and I keep seeing shit out of the corner of my eye. It's creeping me the hell out. Anyways, let me see. I'm gonna read only one because ooh, oh god, look at all these. Nasty. Oh, go away, advertisement. No one cares. I don't like Jeff the Killer. Go away. Alright, so let's just read. How about the bones? Alright. I'm going to be moving my head around a lot as I read. Growing up, I was hugely interested in the study of bones, probably starting when I found my first one. I remember being when I was around 7 years of age, out in the woods by my old house. I'd always play outside and explore those woods because people didn't worry back then like they do now. As I was walking around one day, I saw something white on the ground. Well, not really white, but that bone color. When I got close, I saw it was indeed a bone. Not just any bone, but a real human bone. I wasn't scared at all. It was actually pretty cool. It looked like a small hand, actually, but what got me is it only had 3 fingers and looked kind of messed up. However, I thought it looked really cool. After running back to my house, not telling my mom and dad about it, I hid it in a box under my bed. It didn't end there. The next day, I found more. I found them in a hole in the woods, and they looked a lot like the other one I had found. One looked like a hand, but it only seemed to have 2 fingers. The other ones were just ribs or something like that. I hid those under my bed. My mother had gotten worried. Go away, Twitter. Jesus. Alright. I think I should have hid them better because my mom found them. I felt so bad for making her worry, so after she found them, I hid all of the other ones in a box outside. This time I knew they were out of sight. It looked just like I had a whole bone collection. I felt just like a scientist. Every day after school I'd go out and look at the bones and try to match them up because I had a whole bunch. It would have been so cool if I could have made a whole skeleton. Once my dad caught me with them. I shouldn't have been so close to where he could see me while mowing the lawn. He ran over and carried me inside, then put me in timeout. I heard my mother sobbing and my dad seemed really mad, so I went to sleep. I woke up though when the cops came in my room and started talking with me. I was really confused. They kept asking me questions. I was growing frightened. They carried me out the door and put me in the police car, but I wasn't really scared, just a little confused. They asked me what I always wanted to be when I grew up. I told them I had always wanted to be one of those scientists who studied bones. I don't think they believed me. They just asked me a bunch of other questions, but I just got more scared then. They put me in this little room, and I think I stayed there overnight. I was still very confused. I just wanted to be like a scientist. The kind that examines bones and dead bodies, you know? But I just don't think that they liked when they found my fingerprints on my deformed brother's body in the woods. Maybe I should have hid him better. That was a joke. That wasn't scary. That was a joke. Dicks. Alright. I think I'm only going to read like 1 or 2 more because I'm not feeling well and I need to get a little bit of rest. Licking. I loved you. Meet Tom, a simple-minded guy who loves anime and Japanese songs so much that he had become too attached to his laptop 24/7, watching reruns of his favorite cartoons and listening to music that he himself finds hard to understand. Life's crappy, he thinks. Many of his friends make fun of him because he doesn't really get out that much. It's okay for him. He doesn't really care about what other people say about him, as long as it doesn't involve the things he likes most, his cartoons and his favorite band. Most of the time, he would just lay in bed, with his laptop in his stomach, watching episode by episode more than 100 gigabytes of cartoons until he eventually dozed off. When not watching any of his collections, he would wander off to cyberspace, finding solace in a place where he thinks nobody would judge him. See, the thing is with Tom that he tries so hard, forgets what's important, originality. Sometimes he would imagine being one of the characters in the cartoons he owned and act like one. You can pretty much say he's a nerd. Like me. Otaku life, bitches. Tom's quite good looking, unlike his older brother, Tim, who is fat and works at a comic book store. But much to people's surprise, his brother's nothing like him. Tim is more well-mannered and outgoing person. He loves hiking in the outdoors. Rarely would Tim stay at home lazing around doing nothing. He'd go out for a walk and sometimes go camping trips on the weekend. The other day, Tom decided to find a girl on a matchmaking site he found on one of his forums online. So long story short, there he found Erica, a cute girl who lives right next door to his neighborhood. How convenient, he thought. They can go on dates often. So he decided to meet up with Erica and hoped Erica would agree. Later that night, Tom received an email from Erica saying she would love to meet him and asked where they should meet. Upon receiving this email, he jumped in joy, and suddenly, for the first time in his life, he felt something more important in his lifetime than his collection of anime and songs. The day came and Tom went to the park just as they'd agreed. He was wearing a green t-shirt and jeans, casual as always, hoping that Erica would dress cutely like the girl from an anime. Tom couldn't wipe the smirk off his face, imagining Erica in a Japanese maid costume. Oh god, this guy's a creep. Tom suddenly realized he had nothing to start a conversation with Erica. That would end up for a guy like him to mess things up. It's not like he talks to girls all the time. He just lists down all the things that can move conversation. Nothing fancy, just typical stuff. Tom tries to avoid talking about anime because that could give Erica some clue of what Tommy is. A nerd. After everything sorted out in his mind, he sat there waiting patiently for Erica to arrive. It could take her a while to get there, he thought. I'll try not to be creepy. He warns himself because he knows for sure sometimes he could be one. Before he could see Erica waving in the distance. Wow, she's sure excited to see me, he thought. He waved back, not letting her feel awkward. Hi! A smile on her face says it all. She is pretty much excited to see him. Hi! Now Tom's feeling a bit shy. They chat for a while and decide to go out for a movie. Tom wanted to see a love story, play with the mood a little. But Erica insists they watch a horror film instead. Interesting personality, Tom figured. They spent the whole day together and it was fun. For Tom at least, but for Erica, it's a whole different story. Tom went back home, happy, satisfied. Feels like a normal person with normal feelings. He never felt better. For now. Days went by and the relationship escalated quicker than he'd imagined. It seems to him that Erica is much more desperate in having a relationship than him. Tom? Well, he's just plain bored, actually. Never tried having a relationship before. Eventually, Tom got bored of Erica and sought sanity back to his old collections. Apparently, Erica didn't get the notice and still thought Tom liked her. She kept sending emails, text messages, until eventually she gave up and when Tom did not reply or respond to any of her emails or messages. Years went by. Tom finally settled down with his new adult life to get out of the life he had before. He did quite good, actually, having a desk job, a beautiful wife, and 2 wonderful kids. One night, Tom was watching a movie in the living room alone. Ding dong. The front doorbell rang. Who would come to my house this late? Tom thought to himself. He got up from the couch and walked straight to the door. He opened the door and no one was there. That's weird, Tom said silently. Down on the floor was a parcel wrapped in red ribbons and a smiley drawn on it. A large smiley. Tom was dumbfounded when he saw the parcel. Unintended, he took the parcel inside and closed the door. Before closing the door, he peeked once again to make sure no one was outside. He took a knife and cut open the ribbon. He tore the paper wrapping the parcel carefully not to destroy the paper entirely. Unveiled was a white box with his name on it. Carefully he opened the box. What was inside shocked him. Inside was a set of pictures taken of him sleeping when he was 21 years old. Pictures of him getting married snapped from a distance. Pictures of him on his honeymoon. Pictures of his wife when she was pregnant in the hospital. Pictures of his 2 kids when they were still in the incubator in the hospital. There was also a note in the box. Tom unfolded the note and read its content. Dear Tom, you may have noticed that I took some of your pictures to remind me how cute you are. I decided to share some of my collections with you, Tom. I hope you liked it. There are plenty more where that came from, love. Sincerely, Erica. Tom was speechless. He kept staring at the pictures, not realizing a pair of eyes were watching him by the window outside his house. Scared to his bones, Tom went to bed, shivering under his blanket. The next day he decided not to tell his wife about the pictures he got last night. His wife noticed he looked pale that day and asked why. He just kept quiet and looked away. For the next week he kept getting hang-up calls and receiving pictures of him and his family, recent ones. Unable to stand the suspense, he reported the incident to the local police. The police checked to see who the person who had been threatening Tom and his family. Tom insisted that it was Erica. The police checked in their database to see where Erica lived. The case led them to an old abandoned apartment near his old neighborhood. This must be it, he thought. He entered the apartment with the aid of the police. Of course, he would never enter there alone. When they reached the place where they thought they would find Erica, they didn't find anything except some notes left on the floor. Notes clearly meant for Tom. Please open the drawer, one of the notes said. Tom opened the drawer and found the envelope he believed to be Erica's. There he found an A4 envelope. He took the envelope and opened it to see what was inside. A set of pictures of his wife sleeping and his kids at school. This is getting creepy, he thought. The policeman that went with him received a call from the station. After a while, he went to Tom and said something which horrified Tom. Sir, I'm afraid we're looking for the wrong person. The Erica you're looking for is dead. This left Tom puzzled and more scared than ever. If the letters they received weren't from Erica, then who? Holy shit. Alright, should I read one more? Wait, Audino? What? The Last Audino. Alright, the Last Audino paused in its foraging for scraps in the dark alley. It hadn't slept for many weeks, and it was starving from the long run from the countryside into a place where nobody would look for it. Its haunted eyes told the story of where the others of its kind went. Taken. Murdered. Harvested for what humans called experience. Every time it blinked, it remembered the sounds of trainers engaging its nesting grounds, slaughtering both old and young alike. One day, it hoped, one day the tables would be turned. The sound of a garbage can being knocked down snapped the Last Audino out of its reverie, as it tossed itself on the ground, looking for whatever caused the can to be knocked over. It slowly approached the can, cautiously on all 4 legs. Once it got to the can, it peered inside. The contents weren't that appetizing, but it ate them anyway. Then footsteps, coming closer and closer. The Audino curled up into a ball inside the garbage can, hoping that the humans would just pass it by. No such luck. As the garbage can was suddenly lifted up and slammed upside down, giving the Audino a small concussion. Laughter from outside, as a group of adolescent boys picked up sticks and began hammering on the metal can, with the reverberations driving the Audino insane in the garbage can. Finally, it couldn't take it anymore and tossed the can off with all its remaining strength. The can hit the head of one of the boys, sending him sprawling on the ground. The rest of the gang ran off, not even bothering to retrieve their fallen comrade. The Audino slowly approached the human, who was trying to crawl away. The Audino picked up the knife that had fallen from the boy's belt and approached the teenager. The kid was almost at the access door to their hideout when everything went black. The Audino looked at what it had done. All traces of sanity were gone. Taking the knife, it began cutting strips of flesh off the boy's body for What was this red spot? No matter how hard I tried to get it off, it wouldn't be removed. Thinking back, it remembered some of the raiders pointing beams of red light at its fellow broodmates, which resulted in holes suddenly appearing in the body. Oh no. The discharge of the sniper rifle was perfectly timed with the sound of the rear-end collision in the street. The Audino's body was torn apart by the 50 BMG round intersecting in the middle of his chest, disintegrating the torso and sending the upper half of the body flying all the way down the alley. When the Audino landed, due to its regenerator ability, it was able to keep itself alive even after the extreme trauma it just suffered. Perhaps it could die from bleeding out? Not the most noblest of ways to go, but better than... The boot of some random thumb came down hard on the Audino's skull, crushing it. With an act of extreme brutality, the last Audino died. Whoa. That is not scary. That's just sad. Go away. Alrighty. Hey guys. Alright, so I think I want to read one more, but I don't know anymore. What did I see? What did I hear? If I could answer any of these questions for you, I would, but I can't. Sometimes there's just things in this world that we can't understand. Or maybe our minds just don't want us to understand. Either way, I have no idea what I saw or heard that night in that cabin. I'll tell the story to the best of my recollection, but I honestly can't bear to remember some of the details. Me and my girlfriend Jane walked a week away from everything. The work, the stress, the bills, the money. We wanted a break. All I wanted was a break from the stresses of life. I'm not sure whether or not we got a break. Jane told me about a wonderful cabin she had found that we could rent out that weekend. It seemed so perfect, like it had come into our life at just the right time. That weekend we drove the 40 miles to the cabin, listening to our Ramones CD on constant repeat. She looked so beautiful in the twilight, her big brown eyes shining in the last of the sunlight, her long black hair flowing in the wind. I miss her so very much. Feels like a piece of my heart's been ripped from my soul. I'm getting off topic, aren't I? Yes, on with the story. The picture of the cabin must have been 10 years outdated, because this thing was a shit heap. Rotting wood, decaying door, all that jazz. The door almost broke off the rusty hinges as it squeaked open. I shivered at the noise, but Jane seemed elated, so I pretended to be too. We brought everything inside and settled in for the weekend. In our first moments alone, nature ran its course on us. After we were done and had settled down, we had dinner. We brought hamburger helper home from home to cook. The damn stove wouldn't light. Good thing we brought chips. After the sky turned an inky black, we just lay beside each other, admiring the beauty of nature. Knock, knock. What the hell was that? I looked over at Jane, and she had the same puzzled about terrified look on her face. It didn't happen again, so I just didn't think anything of it. We went back to talking and admiring the beauty of the night sky. Knock, knock. I was getting annoyed and frightened at this point, frustrated because I couldn't figure out what the hell was making that noise. I'll be back, okay? I reassured Jane. She nodded in agreement. I walked around the side of the cabin, running into a spider web on the way. Shook it off and returned the flashlight on my phone. I looked around and searched for what could be making the knocking sound. I didn't find anything, so I went back to the front of the cabin where I had left Jane. She wasn't there. I called her name, tears in my eyes. I called and called for her, but never got a response. I looked off into the distance near the road and thought I saw something. All I could make out was the shape of a man, but nothing more. The shadow was an odd black color, darker than the black your eye would think of. Tears made it hard to see, and my uncontrollable shaking didn't help. Whatever you are, get the hell out of here, I shouted in anger and fear. Whatever it was retreated into the darkness. I went back inside and cried myself to sleep with some help from my good friend Jack Daniels. I awoke with a hangover, made worse with the heartbreak I had just felt the night before. I went into the bathroom and washed my face. It was then that I heard a dripping noise in the shower. I opened the curtain as fast as I could. Someone had left the tap on. I walked in the bedroom and found Jane. I can't say that because this wasn't Jane anymore. All of her bones and organs had been taken, leaving behind only her skin. She looked almost like a sheet. I wept at the side of the bed for what felt like hours. The police saw the state that I was in and ruled me out as a suspect immediately. They gave me sympathetic looks, which I returned with teary, blurred eyes. Jane's body was taken away, and I haven't heard any news about the event since. I feel awful, like I should have done something more to help her. I don't even know what I mean by that, but I never should have left her on the porch like that. I don't know why she didn't scream. Maybe she did, but I didn't hear her. I wish I knew what was responsible for what happened to Jane, but I can't say that I do. As I sit and type this in my empty apartment, I feel the sorrows of 1,000 men. I wish I knew. Yay, we read one. There are so many creepypastas. Wow. Look at all this, guys. So many to read for this new segment of my channel, which is mostly made, the creepypastas are made to be a more creepy type of ASMR, and I've been meaning to start like a separate channel for that, but you know, I had to kind of get used to it first. But I mostly am doing these creepypastas on this channel to kind of get my reading skills back up and hopefully not be gross. I want to read one more, but I kind of feel like I should probably go to bed now. So, on that note, thank you all very much for joining me in this most dark and dreary evening. Leave a like and favorite if you want. Subscribe. Do not forget to subscribe or I will poke you. And I hope that you enjoyed this broadcast despite the fact that some of the stories we read were a little bit scary. And if you have any suggestions for any more creepypastas that you want to hear, go ahead and leave me a comment below and talk to me here. I don't mind receiving anything from you guys. I'm not shy and I will definitely respond to you. And on that note, I bid you all good night. Try to get some sleep, shall we? Good night.